Hello, I'm U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell. I'm so grateful to our host, the Equilibrium Institute, for convening this much-needed gathering. And I'm honored to join all of you for an important conversation about our future, the future of Hungary, of the transatlantic alliance, and of the entire international order that underpins Western peace and prosperity. Over the past 2 years, the West has started to recognize with clearer eyes the growing array of threats to this order and the undeniable links between them. Allies have woken up from a holiday from history to start investing more seriously in their defenses and guarding more carefully against predation and malign influence from Moscow, Beijing, and beyond. But committed Atlanticists in Hungary are worried that this tide of encouraging progress threatens to leave them behind, and I share their concern. Hungarians see their place in Central Europe and who hope for a future that faces westward are facing a number of choices. They are told that engaging thoroughly with the transatlantic community necessarily comes at the expense of their national sovereignty. At the same time, they're told that economic prosperity means outsourcing a portion of that same sovereignty to the coercive influence of China's Belt and Road Initiative. They're told their nation is Europe's last bastion of true Christianity, while their leaders simultaneously excuse the actions of the most violent persecutor of Christians in Europe today. Declarations like these, of course, ring hollow. As you may know, I'm a committed conservative, and I can appreciate a willingness to swim upstream against prevailing culture, whether it emanates from Brussels or Washington. But while I appreciate the shared values my party may have with conservative parties in Europe, I'm focused on the common interests of the United States and our transatlantic allies. I am, quite unapologetically, an internationalist. America's interests and Hungary's are simply too important to pretend as if we can go it alone or shirk the responsibilities of collective security. That's why I pushed so hard to deliver a supplemental investment in Ukraine's defense and in America's own arsenal earlier this year. The overwhelming support for this step from my party in the U.S. Senate came from a simple recognition that America and our allies have core interests far beyond our borders, and that the adversaries trying to undermine these interests are actually working together. The stakes of ongoing conventional war in Europe are too high to mistake Western material support for Ukraine for the pursuit of conflict. There's only one aggressor here, and it is the neo-Soviet imperialist Vladimir Putin. The stakes of Iran's support for Russia's war are likewise too high to chase deeper trading ties with the world's most active state sponsor of terrorism. And yet that is precisely what the current government in Hungary is doing. The stakes of China's concerted effort to undermine the existing Western-led order by coercion and outright belligerence are too high to shackle Hungary's prosperity to the whims of the PRC. Where that path leads is hardly a mystery. Prime Minister Frederiksen of Denmark suggested recently that Europe's experience with its self-imposed reliance on Russian natural gas should be a warning not to make a similar mistake with China and our industrial supply chains. This isn't a question of overregulation for Brussels, it's common sense advice. We should be trading with our friends, not with the countries trying to undermine the very fabric of the international order. Atlanticists in Budapest likely don't need these reminders, but a small vocal contingent on the American right might. When it comes to Hungarian affairs, self-styled national conservatives in Washington seem to have left long-standing principles behind. The same voices that demand to be taken seriously as hawks on the challenge of Chinese aggression heap praise on the first European government to join the the BRI, and the host of Huawei's European Logistics Hub, a gateway to Western telecommunications infrastructure. Suffice it to say that the example of Hungary's committed Atlanticists carry urgent significance far beyond your own borders, challenging the wisdom of letting Beijing or Moscow pull strings in Budapest is so vitally important, because when one ally invites the fox into the henhouse, the entire transatlantic alliance is made more vulnerable. Likewise, in European affairs, your determined orientation toward the West carries added significance, because Hungarians know what actual oppression feels like. The way Budapest meets the gathering storm of anti-Western aggression will significantly influence the entire West's response. And that makes this week's gathering and the efforts of the Equilibrium Institute every day all the more vital to our shared cause. I'm tremendously proud to stand with you. I commend all of you for joining in this important discussion. Thank you all very, very much.